Go on, just curious. He's like drooling.
So these will both be bottom roast.
Okay.
So I think it's probably enough to add to a stew. And if you're making a big stew, thaw 2 of them.
Right.
Nice. Gonna go throw those in the freezer?
Yes.
Snakes, Dad.
6 snakes?
Yeah. 6. They walk down. Oh, they're for y'all. Touch boy, Mom.
Hey guys, so as you've seen, my husband got a deer the other day. We're very, very happy about that. We've already harvested it, we've butchered it, it's in the freezer now. Basically the only thing we haven't done something with are the bones and the hide. I have the hide frozen and I will be pulling that out at some point to try to tan it. I've never done that, so that'll be very new for me, but I'm going to give it a go. Then the last thing will be these bones, and I've saved all the bones that we had. There's still some meat on them, just some meat that we couldn't really get off, and then there's the tendons and all of that. So I plan on using these bones to make bone broth. I originally was thinking I would make bone stock, but stock is just not as nutritious as the bone broth. And bone broth takes a lot longer, I will say. I think in the end it'll be worth it. And I've decided to use a crock pot for the bone broth because it does take more than 24 hours. And I can't have this wood stove going 24 hours because right now it's not super cold and we don't really have a fire through the night, so we'll just cook ourselves out of this cabin. So the best thing I think will be to just go get the slow cooker and kind of just make this process a little bit easier for us. Now if I had chosen to do stock, I could have just done it on the wood stove. It would have taken me less than a day, but I just didn't think it was really worth it. I just feel like if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. And I'm going to do the very best I can, honor that animal by making sure that we've used everything that we can the best way possible. So I think the bone broth will be better for us. So I just need to start by putting the bones in the oven. I'm going to bake them with some oil and some salt. I have that go for about 2 hours. And then after the 2 hours, I can add it to the slow cooker with some water and maybe a couple more seasonings. And I'll just start to let that go. But I have so much that I need to do this in batches, so I'll just keep adding to the slow cooker as bones come out of the oven. And then hopefully tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, we've got a nice bone broth. I'm adding a cover onto these because I don't want the inside of my oven to get all greasy and gross. I've put a bunch of oil on, so I'm pretty sure that with the heat of the oven, it's just going to be kind of a mess in there. And I don't want anything to burn either. Now something I will say is I'm going to have to come back several times and rotate these two because in a wood cook stove, the stuff that's higher in the oven is much hotter than the stuff below. So I will definitely want to make sure I'm flip-flopping them. But I think I'm going to leave them in here for about an hour and a half and we'll see what everything looks like at that point. And if I need to, I'll let it go a little bit longer. The oven is not super hot yet, but I'm pretty sure that it will be as I have to add wood. So I think we're in a good place right now, but I just need to kind of make a mental note to come back to flip-flop these.
Dad, there's bad guys.
it's the next day and this is what it looks like. I need to start scraping the fat and the bits off of the top, and then this should be good at the end of the day, I think, which will be great because I plan on using this in a roast in a couple of days.
Now I have boiled meat for dinner. Boiled.
Bad that I'm doing stuff.
So it's the next day, and these have been in the refrigerator for all night. And I already skimmed out this one a little bit last night, but I need to get all this white stuff off. It's fat. And then when all this stuff is off, it can go right into the freezer. I'm going to put them in little baggies and vacuum seal them just to save some more freezer space. Comes right off. It's just like kind of coming off in flakes. So it's actually very easy to get this off of the top. There, that is done. So I find a project like this extremely special because an entire animal has given its life for our family, and I don't take that lightly. We are going to attempt to use as much as that animal as possible. Obviously, we've already harvested all the meat. It's in our freezer, and we're retaining the hide. We're making the bone broth. So I feel really good about it. I feel like we're really utilizing its life, trying to do as much as we can. We don't even buy store meat, actually. We just don't feel comfortable with the process that those animals have to go through, but I feel very comfortable with hunting, especially on our own property. We know that these animals were wild and they chose where they slept, they chose what they ate, and they essentially had a good life. So I feel very good about that. So when you see us processing it in the video or making the bone broth, just know that we're not taking this lightly at all, and we are so thankful for the animal, and the entire thing is very special to us, and we are just going to do the best we can to honor its life. In fact, I still have the crock pot going because I had more bones and not enough space. So last night I baked those bones again, and it's almost done now. It's been going for almost 24 hours now, so I'll be doing the same thing over again, hopefully getting a little bit more actually. Throwing that into the freezer again. So this is really great because this is broth, not stock. Stock is more for cooking, more for just a flavoring and kind of like a water replacement in dishes, whereas broth can be used as all of that, but it can also be eaten on its own. So I tasted it last night. It tasted really good. I do think I should have added more salt though. So I'm going to be adding salt as we use these, and in the next batch I'll add a lot more salt. I'm going to post the recipe that I followed for it, and I didn't follow it to a T, so if you see things that are different, that's because I changed it, and I just do that. I just do my own way. One of the things that I really am going to change is how much salt I add. The recipe said to be cautious about adding extra salt when you add the rest of your spices because you already have salted the bones before you roasted. So I really didn't add much. I added a little bit, but not a lot. And I don't know, maybe I just have a taste for salt or something, but I just didn't feel like there was much salt in it. So I'm gonna add a lot more salt to it. And that's pretty much the biggest change that I made from that recipe, but I thought it was a really good recipe. I thought it came out great. So I'm gonna put these in the freezer and we're going to be using them probably one of these jars tomorrow because I'm going to be making a venison stew. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.